thousands of years ago, they were Apollo, Zeus, Ares. Now they are Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the other heroes and villains of DC and Marvel Comics. Join us every week as we discuss the legendary stories, characters, concepts, and other parts of comics as we examine the modern pantheon of heroes. Let's get heroic. Welcome to Under Two Capes, the podcast for the comic book fan. Welcome to Under Two Capes. I am Jared.
And I'm Lad.
And first off, we have a couple of interesting newbies. First off, the fact that we can now see Lad.
Hello, I exist. I'm not a figment of...
He's not just Jarvis in my computer.
Yeah.
And second off, you may notice I'm in a different room. That's just because my computer broke. So I'm getting that fixed, but right now I've relocated to another computer.
Yes, the executive office space for Under Two Capes podcast.
Yeah. Now, we were going to talk about the Fantastic Four, but then Lad said, let's just cover the Siege. So We're covering the Siege this much.
It's a thick book, a textbook. Everyone bring your textbook to class today, okay?
So if this episode is long, you all know who to blame.
Yeah.
All right. So to explain the background of this story. So civil wars happened, secret invasion where most people was replaced by a nice shirt, Lad. Secret invasion where most people was like replaced by a scroll. That's happened, and the scroll like shape-shifting.
I thought the scrolls were good guys though.
By the way, fun fact, actually this is also taking place after the Illuminati series because, so the Illuminati series takes place like a little prior to Secret Invasion because what happened is that the Illuminati, which once again are representatives of the entire Marvel universe. You have tech, you have cosmic powers with Mr. Fantastic, you have the Inhumans, you have the X-Men, and then all of them are kidnapped by the Skrull and experimented upon. So now Skrull, and based on that study, the Skrull come up with the ability to mimic a superhero's powers and be undetectable. That's why they're able to like impersonate all these different superheroes during Secret Invasion.
Okay, so they normally can't get the superpowers at the same time they look like them?
And they normally can be detected. In fact, Reed built a machine to detect them, but now they can't because these guys are idiots and got captured. It's amazing how many times like all these big time heroes get act like idiots and get captured. It's hilarious. So after Civil War, Tony Stark is made the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. because in a previous story, Nick Fury was thrown out and he had to go on the run. So, and then after Secret Invasion, Tony Stark was removed and replaced by Norman Osborn, which if you're a Spider-Man fan like Lad is, that should be very familiar for you who that is.
Yeah, how's that guy not in jail, honestly?
Think of him as the Marvel version of Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I guess that's true, right?
Somehow he's never in jail.
Yeah, I know. Seriously,
it's like I'm reading a Justice League comic and Lex Luthor's hanging out. I'm like, did you commit genocide once?
Maybe.
What is going on, bro? You must have some pretty good lawyers. Jeez.
Yeah, I guess because like he has like Oscorp and whatever LexCorp for him. Wait a second. They
wait, wait a second. Getting your universes mixed up, Lad.
LexCorp, Oscorp. It sounds like someone copied someone else.
From now on, whenever Lad is confused, but is confusing Marvel and DC, I'm going to call it a convergence.
Convergence, there you go.
All right, so there you go. We have our first show saying. All right, so anyway, also Norman Osborn has the idea. He's like, look, the world needs a Captain America. So I'm going to make one. So that's going to be me. But it also needs an Iron Man. So what he does is, so Tony Stark had used S.H.I.E.L.D. funds to build Iron Man armor because he always does that. So, and he made this suit. Osborn took it, painted it red, white, and blue, and became the Iron Patriot. This is the first encounter, the first appearance of the Iron Patriot whatsoever. By the way, I feel like I should mention this story is written by Brian Michael Bendis. This was back when he was a good writer, but and before he was ruining Superman.
Yeah, I remember you
Because
said Bendis wasn't good.
He's a good event writer when because this right here is probably tied with Civil War as my favorite Marvel event right here.
Oh, okay.
Because well, first off, it has some sentimental value. This was my first Marvel comic. So you can
Okay,
imagine picking this up at the store. I'm like, how big are these things?
Yeah.
Until I realized, oh yeah, this is like the entire. It's essentially an omnibus.
Right.
Even though it's not labeled omnibus, but it clearly is one. So anyway, and then also Asgard is hovering over, I think it's Broxton, Oklahoma, like literally hovering over Oklahoma. Wow. And then it's funny is that the people there have like tourist attractions near Asgard. It's like a full-on tourist attraction because why not? It's Asgard.
Right.
You can imagine being the guy who lives directly beneath Asgard because you're not getting any sunlight or anything. It's a landmass hovering right above you.
Yeah.
Lad, you're the science guy. Does not work out that well.
I'm not that type of science, but I think that
it's all the same.
I think that's gonna disrupt, like, I don't know, if you got herds of cows out there, maybe they might be spooked.
If you're
forget about it.
You have to have some artificial sunlight, bro.
Yeah, that has to be some sort of like code violation in the airspace of Oklahoma.
All right, so and then the way this is going to work is that we'll go through the regular story, which is about 4 issues. That shows you how many tie-ins there were for this event.
Wow.
We'll do the original story, and then we'll go into the tie-ins. And then since I don't have a Marvel account, what I'll do is I'll hold up parts in the comic book to the camera so you guys can still have the visuals. Mm-hmm. And I'll also share my screen where we will be going through. Hang on, I have to authorize Zoom to do this. Bear with me, folks. This is a new computer for me. I have to authorize this.
You're hacking into the mainframe now.
All right, cannot share because otherwise I'll have to restart the call. So I am not doing that right now. I'll just hold the pages up. No, I'll just hold the pages up. All right, so we're opening up. The story opens up at Avengers Tower, which has been taken over by Osborn. And remember, and then instead of Shield, there's Hammer. So Hammer has taken over, has replaced Shield. Right. Here's what Asgard. Here's what Asgard looks like hovering over Oklahoma.
Oh, I thought you meant like high up in the sky. It's like literally like
it's not that high. It's not that high.
Wow. Okay, that's just kind of awkward. Okay.
It would be one thing if it was like thousands of feet in the air, but it's like right there.
It's just like hovering.
I'm like, okay, this is not good. If this thing falls on me, I'm screwed.
Yeah, I don't think that's normal for cities.
No, complete opposite of normal, bro. All right, so the story also opens up. So Norman Osborn is kind of having a discussion with himself. What I mean by that is the Green Goblin personality is talking to him. So it's kind of showing he's not really right in the head.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's really chilling and everything. So then it cuts to a meeting with Osborn, Dr. Doom, and the rest of the evil Illuminati, which is made up of like Loki, Taskmaster,
these guys are all the bad guys. What are they he's meeting with them for?
Secretly meeting with them.
Oh, okay. Is he as Goblin doing it? Like
no,
right now...
he's as the Iron Patriot. He's completely right now abandoned the Goblin persona.
Oh, okay. But why is he meeting with them? Like, is he like evil right now?
Oh, he's always evil. He's putting on the public appearance of being a good guy like Lex Luthor.
I see.
So anyway, he's trying to get Dr. Doom to join their cabal because the plan right now is Osborn wants to go to war with Asgard.
Oh, wow.
So he's like, if we do this, can I count on your assistance?
Yeah.
So and Dr. Doom is like, I'm not. No, I'm not doing that.
I'm not joining your little club.
Yeah, he's probably like, I've seen how this movie ends.
Yeah.
A dude with a hammer and lightning shows up, and I get knocked all the way into Brazil.
Yeah.
So once again, he's like, "Hey, listen, man, what can I do to get your help?" And then Dr. Doom is like, "If you bring me Namor, maybe I'll join your little club." So once again, Osborn's like, "No," and then Dr. Doom is like, "I wasn't asking." And then Osborn's like, "Still no." So then they have a little back and forth, and then okay. So Osborn goes, "Okay, if you want to play rough, I can play rough. Will you come in here, please?" And a shadowy figure comes in, and then Taskmaster's like, "What the hell was that? Is that?" And then he's like, "The last chance, Doom. You want to help us?" And then Doom's like, "No." And he goes, "Okay, kill him." And then the Doom is like destroyed, but it's revealed that it's a Doom bot.
Oh.
There's no way Dr. Doom would go into a meeting with these people. There's no way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's always got one ace up his sleeve, eh?
Now the Doombot actually starts to disintegrate into these little spider robots. Yeah, the entire tower is being like overrun by them. So Stark's like, "Everybody, wake up right now! We're under attack by giant hammeroids."
Yeah.
That was so good. But so the Avengers wake up and move to the top of the tower. Now you may be wondering, why is Norman Osborn leading the Avengers? It's because the traditional Avengers team that you and I know have been replaced. Now that's partly because the actual Avengers team was disbanded by the government. This is what happens when you put the government in charge of your superhero team because of some Superhero Registration Act.
Yeah, they pick B tier superheroes.
So no, they replaced them with. So the Avengers team now is made up of Hawkeye, Ms. Marvel, Wolverine, and Spider-Man, and the Sentry. Now you may be wondering, wait a second, solid. I thought you said the Avengers are like disbanded. Well, it's because Norman Osborn created the Dark Avengers.
Oh.
What these are is he took supervillains and dressed them up like superheroes.
Oh, okay.
Spider-Man is Venom. Hawkeye's Bullseye. Wolverine is Draken, Wolverine's son. Ms. Marvel is Moonstone. But the Sentry is an actual is an Avenger. He's a superhero.
Yeah.
So, and the Sentry, just to give you an idea of who this guy is, basically think about him right now as one of Marvel's many analogies to Superman.
I see. Okay.
I would just love to see him and Hyperion go at it. That'd be great. Hyperion is the other one that's Superman. In addition to Blue Marvel. Marvel has a lot of Supermen.
Yeah.
I'm like, just admit DC is better and be done with it. Come on.
Oh, boy.
So the Sentry shows up and destroys all the robots. Everything is secure. So now, Osborn has like a Skype call with the president, and he goes, "Hey, this was an attack. There was an attack by the tower on the tower by Asgard. I need authorization to go ahead and take the fight to them." So they're like, "No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. No." The U.S. government's like, "Oh no, sir."
Yeah, it's like, did you see them? They have a floating city. Okay.
That's not even like thousands of feet in the air. And wait a second.
Like,
let's not forget, all these people roughly have the same power level as Thor.
Yeah, I know.
Are you sure you want to be messing with these people?
Yeah.
So then Osborn has a little visit from a certain horned god. Whose name starts with an L.
And ends with ad?
No, it ends with key.
Oh, okay.
It's Loki.
It's Hiddleston.
So Loki goes, "Okay, here's how you get the government to authorize an invasion." Now, what what caused that superhuman civil war? It was an inciting incident. So what you need to do is fight an incident that you can like plaster and say Asgardians attacked us. And then the president will have to say, go ahead and invade.
Yeah.
So he's like, but how am I going to do that? So Loki says, all right. So what happens next is that on Earth, Volstagg of the Warriors 3, he's basically the red bearded dude from the Thor movies.
Okay, that's the one. Yeah.
Is curious about about Midgard because he hears all these stories from Thor because Thor is there every 30 seconds. So Volstagg goes exploring throughout Midgard, and then he happens to be in the middle of to be standing in the street as a robbery is taking place, and then he tries to help and takes out the robbers. Then he's attacked by some supervillains, thrown into a sports stadium, and then he unleashes unknowingly a power blast that destroys an entire sports stadium amount of people.
Oof.
And then Loki's like, "Here's your inciting incident, sir."
Man, did he not notice his power level?
I think he knew he was powerful. He just didn't like temper his strength when he's in the middle of a city. When you think about it, how strong must Thor be when he fully lets go?
Yeah, I guess Infinity War strength.
Oh,
right?
oh yeah. No, you know what it is? It's the strength we saw in Thor Ragnarok, where he didn't have the hammer and he was on the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah, that's it.
That's pretty much it. So now Osborn has authorization. Now, who's going to plan this assault? He calls in Ares, the god of war. And Ares is a character in Marvel as well as DC.
Oh, okay.
It's a different dude, but it's pretty much Ares. So Osborn calls up the Dark Avengers. Their whole, what is revealed in this issue so the Dark Avengers, they weren't exactly volunteering to be Avengers. Osborn said, hey, listen, if you come in here, I'll take some time off your prison sentences. If you're a DC fan, this should sound very familiar.
No, it's not.
Except no one's head was exploding.
Yeah.
So he says, okay. So at first they're all like, we're not invading Asgard. Are you nuts? And then he's like, but if you do this for me, your records are clean. You can go and do whatever you want now. And they're like,
hey, that's even better than Amanda Waller's offer.
Well, Waller has the same offer. It's just she keeps taking out like really, really, really minuscule amounts of time, even though the ops that they do save the world.
Yeah.
You would think the whole squadron at this point should have a clean record. Like, come on, guys. So then Ares has this awesome speech. And in fact, I'm going to read you this speech because I'm a sucker for great speech. Speeches for like battle scenes. Ares is like, warriors, this is what I call you because today that is what you are. And whether you have trained to be here, earned your way here, or the fates brought you here. Today is the reason why you are here. Like, very eloquent. Yeah. Today is a fight that will task each and every one of you to rise to the best of your abilities. Oh, that's an understatement. Yes, we will be fighting a worthy foe. You have been fighting mighty warriors, tested and true. We know exactly who we are fighting today, but they do not. They have no idea what you are capable of. But I know, we know, and now the world will know. And yes, the eyes of the world will be upon you today. So go and let the winds of history speak of you loudly and for all time. Now, I gotta admit, that'd be pretty cool to be getting a pump-up speech by the God of War.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, dang. All right, so
that's pretty good.
Now, we cut to the White House, and the president is being briefed. Turns out the president has not authorized Osborn to invade. He just decided, screw it, I'm going to do it.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, okay, Osborn is out of control. So we cut off, and then Balder, the Norse god of war. So you have gods of war versus gods of war wakes up to the invasion, and there's this awesome image of the Dark Avengers invading. If you notice, a few of them are on goblin gliders.
Oh, nice.
Like Draken and Hawkeye.
Yeah.
That's so good. I love that. I love that image because there's Ares on a fighter jet.
Nice. That's a good image.
Yeah, I know. So they wake up. So over in Oklahoma, Tony Stark is in a hospital bed, like knocked out. Apparently, in a previous story, he was injured. He's always getting into comas, this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's being watched over by Maria Hill and a certain blonde-haired character named Donald Blake.
Oh.
Donald Blake. That should be familiar for all your Marvel
Yeah, I know
fans. So then Blake's like, I have to go take care of something. I have to go hammer a nail. He doesn't actually say that, but I'm trying to hint at who it is. So then he turns into Thor.
Nice.
And then he's charging Osborn, and then Moonstone's like, I think we need to get out of here. And Osborn's like, don't worry, we got this. And then Sentry just rams them into a cornfield. And then they beat Thor to a pulp because it's not only the Sentry, it's like Norman Osborn. Let's see, Moonstone, who's basically Ms. Marvel, as like a lot of really high-powered bruisers.
Yeah.
And then on the news, the news is playing and saying about how Thor is getting his butt kicked. Now, who should be watching this particular news piece? But Steven Rogers.
Steven Rogers?
Obviously, this is after he returns from the dead.
Yeah, or like the whole time travel soul displacement thingy that happened. That.
Yeah, I guess. So what I like about this volume of the Siege is that it includes these bonus segments with like there's like a transcript of like an audio call that all the Dark Avengers had where they're all like, I can't believe we're gonna invade Asgard. It's like, oh no. So they have this awesome battle. There's the Greek god of war versus the Norse god of war.
Nice.
This is Balder. He's the Norse one.
I see.
And he's the current king of Asgard because Odin's dead, I think.
Oh.
He's always dying.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what it is? This is taking place after the Thor story Ragnarok, where all of the gods are like trapped in human bodies.
Oh, okay.
Except most of them have been discovered. I think Odin's the last one. That's why he's not here.
I see.
So now Heimdall shows up and tells Ares, hey, listen, dude, you've been duped by Osborn. And once again, Heimdall sees all. So Ares is like, okay, they just takes off and goes after Osborn. And so what's kind of funny is that Maria Hill shows up to go rescue Thor, and she's in the back of a pickup truck with a rocket launcher.
Wow.
That is so. By the way, she was created in Civil War, so she's a relatively new character at this point.
Oh, okay, I see.
So then they finally rescue Thor and get out, and then it cuts back to the Avengers hideout in Brooklyn, the good Avengers. And Steve Rogers is like, hey guys, we got to go. And who should he be hanging out with but all of his secret Avengers? Like there's Ms. Marvel, the Vision, Spider-Woman. Actually, wait, when I say Ms. Marvel, I mean the cool Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
You got Quake, Ronin. Yes, that it's Hawkeye after I think Hawkeye died and then came back to life as Ronin.
I see.
Then there's Mockingbird from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Hulking, Phobos, is like a lot. Spider-Man, there's like tons of characters here. Jeez.
So they're hiding out, or they have like an underground.
These are all the heroes who sided with Cap.
Oh, okay. He rounded them all up.
Yeah, because remember, in this part of the story, the Superhuman Registration Act is still in effect.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
So it's still in there. So then Ares shows up, and then the Sentry starts protecting Osborn from Ares. And then, all right, so it's not even a fair fight because the Sentry easily deals with Ares. But in one of the most brutal moments in this entire comic, this is what the Sentry does to Ares. He takes him and splits him in half.
Is that not? That doesn't look like it's good for you.
Oh no! That's how powerful this dude is.
Yikes.
And we'll find out why he's super powerful later. So anyway, back at Brooklyn, the Secret Avengers, as they're known, are gearing up. And then Barnes hands the shield back to Steve Rogers and says, "This is yours, sir." And then the Winter Soldier just grabs a rifle and goes, "Shh, let's go." And then Jarvis shows up with a briefcase. Jarvis is with a briefcase, and he goes, "Okay, I need someone to take this to Mr. Stark." 3 guesses on briefcase on what that actually is.
Yeah, I have an idea.
If you've seen the Iron Man movies, you know what this is. So Quicksilver takes off and is like, "Okay, I got this." And Quicksilver is basically Marvel's version of the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then what's so great is so Wolverine and some Hammer agents, by Wolverine I mean evil Wolverine, are tracking Thor, and then they're like, "I smell him. I got him." So Drake takes off, and then he gets fried to a crisp with lightning.
Oof.
I'm like, what'd you expect was gonna happen, bro? He's Thor.
Yeah.
And then Thor's like, "Okay, bro, let's do this." And then Osborn is like, "Okay, I guess we're gonna fight." And then he turns around, and then he sees a red, white, and blue shield getting progressively closer to his faceplate.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. And then we have we have some more of those bonus transmissions, and then the president is getting a briefing on the Asgard invasion. He's like, "I told him not to invade. What the heck is going on here?" And then
you said not to invade? I thought you said to invade.
Remember that image of the Captain America shield getting progressively closer to Norman Osborn's helmet?
Yeah.
This is the end result.
Oh, nice. Avengers assemble.
And then it's like a Patriot who's who's like the black kid who dressed up like Captain America. He goes, "Oh man, this is so cool. I'm included in that." And Spider-Man's like, "I know, right?"
Yeah, nice.
But it's like, okay, I'm so glad we found. I will take any opportunity, because this is the only book I have where Carol Danvers is the cool Ms. Marvel besides Civil War.
Right.
Everyone else is like after that, which I'm like, this is mean.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting, by the way, I want to take a pause. It's like, did you know Marvel has never done a reboot? It's all still that same continuity. It's just they're very like ambiguous on how far back that they say things took place.
I see. Yeah, for the most part, it's all kind of connected.
It's like this took place in the past. They don't tell you 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. They just say in the past, because if they said like this took place 20 years ago, that would be kind of unrealistic. Like, why is Iron Man like still operating at this point if he's that old?
Right. I see what you're saying. Okay, that's kind of cool.
So once again, you have the Avengers showing up, and then Thor brings the hammer down on the Sentry, and then all of a sudden, I guess I'm just gonna call them the Secret Society of Supervillains shows up. I'm just gonna call them that because I don't know what they're actually called. I think it's actually the Cabal. By the way, does this character look exactly like Scarecrow?
Let's see. Yeah, that does look kind of suspicious.
What the heck, like, Marv?
It looks just like Dr. Crane himself.
I know. So anyway, Quicksilver shows up and brings the briefcase, and it's kind of funny as Maria Hill's aiming a gun at him. He's like, "Who are you?" And then Quicksilver's like, "I was told to bring a briefcase here, I swear." So Iron Man's like, "It's okay, this is mine. So then also at the same time, the helicarrier is being destroyed, and Victoria Hand's on board, another character invented in this period. If you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you know who that is. Think of her as Norman Osborn's Maria Hill.
I see.
That's basically who that is. By the way, one gripe I have with the story is like, wait a second. So they appoint Norman Osborn as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Is there a background check associated with that position because he's the Green Goblin?
No, I don't think so. It's okay.
Oh, he's fine.
He's cool now. He's not green. I don't see any green. Is he green to you? No, I don't think so.
So anyway, Thor is fighting the Sentry, but then all of a sudden, this weird spider thing just starts to pop out of the Sentry's back. That'll be revealed on what that is later. It's actually a pretty interesting story. So anyway, Captain America is engaged with the Iron Patriot. Then all of a sudden, the Patriot's armor starts being shut down. He's like, what is happening? And then Tony Stark shows up in the classic armor.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
And he's like, he's like, first off, stop stealing my stuff. And second off, I want that armor back. And then the armor just shuts down. So then the Sentry starts falling apart. And then Osborn goes, bring it down. So what the Sentry does, he flies up and then flies straight down through the center of Asgard, destroying it.
Wow, okay.
This is what happens to Asgard.
Man.
That place can never stay alive. Jeez.
Yeah, man, it's just like obliterated. They should have parked it somewhere, like on the ground.
So this shows you how crazy Norman Osborn is, because when they take off Osborn's armor, they find he had painted the Green Goblin green onto his face.
Oh man.
So he's really the Green Goblin at this point. That personality is coming up.
Yeah,
what's kind of funny is it's on national TV about Norman Osborn, and then it's kind of funny. You see at the X Mansion, Wolverine turns to Cyclops, and he's like, "Told ya."
Oh wait, that's so funny. So this is like on national television. Norman Osborn.
Oh yeah,
obliterating the place.
Because like this way, CNN is definitely showing there's a freaking war going on right above Bronx in Oklahoma, where there's an ancient city of myth hanging up there.
Oh man, that's got to be bad for Oscorp PR.
Now, here's the interesting thing about the Sentry I was mentioning. He actually has a dual personality. The Sentry, the actual Sentry, Robert Reynolds, is the traditional like Superman-like character. Mm-hmm. But his other persona, who also happens to be his arch nemesis, is called the Void.
The Void?
That's what that looks like.
It's kind of scary looking.
Oh, yeah. So then we have some more emails, like Maria Hill talking to the president going, hey, Tony Stark wants to know if he's clear to engage. I mean, he's going to do it anyway, but he would feel a lot better if the president said so. And then the president's, in no uncertain term, says, go ahead. You're good. You're good. Go punch something.
Uh-huh.
So then we get to the last issue of the main story. And the battle's not going well because the Avengers are fighting that thing.
Man.
So Loki is like, what have I done? Because yes, he planned this whole war, but he didn't account for the Sentry turning into that thing.
Right.
So he goes, okay, Father, you know those stones that you have that augments everyone's powers, those Norn stones? Can you please augment the Avengers so they get like a massive power boost and they like wipe the floor with the Void, but not before the Void tears Loki in half. Literally.
Oh man. Oof. That's gonna leave a mark.
He's not returning from that one.
Except he is.
except he is.
Loki always comes back.
So Iron Man has this genius idea because nothing's working to defeat the. By the way, so Captain America's like, how do we beat him? So Osborn's like, you can't. He's the angel of death.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll be explained later in the story that that supposedly the Void. So you know that Bible story of the plagues of Egypt where everyone had to take lamb's blood and paint it above their door because the angel of death was coming through. That was this guy.
That's supposed to be that guy. That's crazy.
The Void is that guy.
Oh man, that's pretty. He must be intense then. So
what Iron Man does is he hacks into the helicarrier and he goes, "Okay, everyone abandon ship because I'm gonna ram this thing with the helicarrier."
That'll work.
So he does, and it does that.
Holdover maneuver.
It's a holdover maneuver. It's a holdover maneuver.
Wait, that looks really cool. Show the art again. That was super.
That is really cool.
Oh man.
I can't believe the world has to like cracked at some point with all the explosives being like detonated right on the surface.
That has to be destroying the atmosphere. the ozone layer, whatever, it's gonna be wrecked.
So then it winds up turning the Void back into Robbie Reynolds, and then he's like, "Hey, kill me! I can't control this thing." So Thor's like, "Nah, we're not going to do that." And then it starts to turn back into the Void. So Thor takes all of his power and lightning bolts him to the point where he becomes just a skeleton.
Oof, man.
So what Thor does to make sure he doesn't show up again is he wraps him in a cape and throws him into the sun.
The sun.
Which is interesting because supposedly the Sentry's power level is equal to like 1,000,000 exploding suns.
Yeah.
As a fan of science, lad, you should be like, that's entirely impossible, and the world would be destroyed if you had a being like that.
It sounds like I don't know. It's not. I mean, either one, like it won't do anything to him because he's so strong, and two, if like he might just explode the sun, which would be really bad for us, maybe.
Yeah, there's a point, Marvel, where stop saying this character's like more powerful than exploding neutron gasish black hole or something like that. I'm like, okay, come on, stop it. This is getting a little too unrealistic.
Yeah. Some of those.
If this guy is as powerful as you're claiming, one punch would destroy the Earth and turn into dust.
Yeah.
Okay, lad, you're the science guy. Is that an accurate assessment with what you know about this stuff?
I mean, if he just has like that atomic power, then yeah, some of these superheroes honestly have so much power they could just destroy the Earth like that, you know?
I'm like, dude, what do you? And they keep like really abusing their power. I'm like, I would not be using my power at all if I knew I was that powerful. I'm like, no. Let me put it this way: Mr. Fantastic Son can rewrite reality with his mind.
Yeah,
I'm like, wait a second. Your father stretches and your mother forms force fields. How does that happen?
Yeah, that's a good question.
You would think he would inherit the parents' powers, right?
Yeah.
I don't understand this. And then they try to say that like he was a mutant, but which I guess that's kind of explaining that. But then it was retconned into saying, no, he's not a mutant. So I'm like, I don't know what to believe anymore.
Oh, man.
Okay, so then the story, the battle's over. Captain America, Steve Rogers, goes in front of the president, and the president's like, I want you to lead S.H.I.E.L.D., Steve Rogers. And he's like, okay, I'll do it on one condition. You do things my way. And one more condition. And then it cuts to the next scene, and then all we see is this news ticker saying, Superhuman Registration Act thrown out.
Oh, nice.
Everyone's free to be superheroes again.
Yes.
And then everyone's like, okay, we're all good now. So that's the end of the main storyline. So now we're going into the tie-ins, which are taking place before everything happened. Oh, yeah. Or in between those four issues. Mm-hmm. So we cut into Avengers issue number, actually New Avengers issue 61.
Wait a second. What happened to Norman, though?
He was put in prison.
Oh, okay.
It's revealed at the very last time, so we got a lot to go through. We only went through this much of this. Man.
I wasn't prepared for that.
Once again, if there's a lot, I'm gonna be going through this because we don't have to. This would be a 3-hour episode if we went through like all this in depth. We're not doing that. So basically, all you have to know is that right now, both Captain Americas are being hunted by Hammer, and then Spider-Man is having a conversation with Spider-Woman, and he's kind of hitting on her, like, "Hey, you're a spider. I'm a spider. We should hang out sometime." And she's like, "No." Yeah. Like she completely thinks he's an idiot.
Oh man!
Which in her defense, he kind of is.
Yeah.
Compared to her, because she's like a secret agent. She's like the Black Widow, except with superpowers.
Right.
So then you have Captain America and the Winter Soldier doing battles, and then Captain America apparently Steve Rogers has his own shield that's made out of energy.
Oh, nice.
That is really cool. I'm like, oh, that's actually really. I was wondering why he was glowing so much. Mm-hmm. So then you have some two super villains, which are Gargoyle and Mandrill. Mandrill is a guy that looks like a baboon.
Oh, wow.
the character design on these characters is sometimes kind of wonky. I'm like, baboon, really? Gargoyle is cool. I'm like, but baboon?
Do you know about Hitmonkey?
Really?
There's a character named Hitmonkey who's basically a monkey, but he's a hitman, and he literally has like it's like a monkey that like he wears like a suit and he has like 2 pistols or something like that.
So he's John Wick, except he's John Wick chimp.
Yeah, basically, I think that's basically what he is.
That's so good.
It's a Marvel character.
So then Mandrill apparently has some mind control powers because he makes Spider-Woman fight Spider-Man. Keeping on, so Spider-Man's like, I don't know how I got into this. This is really stupid. He keeps being fought, and then somehow Spider-Woman is able to break free of the control. And then also at the same time, Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes are engaged in battle with some Hammer agents, and they're saved by Luke Cage, who is then saved by Nick Fury.
Oh, okay.
Remember,
he's around.
This is the white guy, Nick Fury. It's not the Ultimate Nick Fury.
Oh, okay, got it.
To explain why the Ultimate Universe has like so many similarities to the MCU is because the MCU is largely based on the Ultimate Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Its whole idea was to bring the Marvel Universe more into modern times.
I see. So that's why they have some of those things.
Although I've told Lad off camera some of the storylines that they do in that, and it's kind of it's weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm glad they brought it back to the main continuity.
I'm like, I'm almost glad that they blew it up.
Yeah, I do like 2099. That's a cool little sub area.
I love that.
That's good.
I love the 2099 Venom. That character design is so dope. And the Hulk. The Hulk is so cool.
Oh, I need to check that out.
The 2099 Hulk looks like a Venom. Hang on, I'll pull it up on my phone so I can hold it up. Hulk 2099. Let me show you this. It looks like a Venom creature.
Yeah, let's see this. Oh man, yeah, that's kind of creepy looking. Nice.
He's a character in Superheroes 2, the Lego game.
Oh, okay, got it.
It's kind of odd. So Spider-Woman eventually breaks free, and they destroy and they take out Mandrill and the others. So then Captain America, Luke Cage, and Captain America meet up with Nick Fury and his secret warriors, which are made up of Phobos, who's the son of Ares. Phobos is the god of fear, by the way. You also have Daisy Johnson Quake. She's the character. She's Skye from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And then we cut into the actual. So we cut back to Brooklyn, and this is where Captain America, Steve Rogers, officially reveals that he's alive to the rest of the Avengers because they all thought he was still dead.
Yeah.
There's only a select few people that knew he was still alive. It's like Captain Marvel. So the most annoying part of this comic is that Captain America and Captain Marvel had this moment where he like whispers something to her to prove that it's really him, but the text is so small I can't read what it is.
Oh, really? That's so funny.
I'm like, I get you're trying to make it sound like a whisper, but can you at least give me some indication of what he said? Because apparently after he whispers to her, she hugs him. So I'm like,
oh, I can tell see like a little secret between them. That's cool.
Could be, which kind of indicates to me that maybe they're a thing.
No, maybe it's like the army, Air Force joke.
Good. You almost said Army Navy. I was about to correct you on that.
Maybe.
Once again, my favorite part of the Avengers cartoon is when Captain Marvel shows up and she goes to Captain America. He's like, "What's up, Army?" And he goes, "What's up, Air Force?"
Yeah.
And then the whole episode is them having an Army Air Force rivalry, and I'm like, "This is awesome."
Yeah.
That's my favorite episode of the entire series. Just for that one, just for that banter, which I wish they had more of or some of in Endgame. Or like in the future Marvel movies, can they just, because they already pretty much confirmed that Chris Evans is coming back as Captain America.
Oh, really?
Which indicates to me that they weren't confident in their current MCU lineup either, because they're like, no way we can. No one's excited for the MCU right now, so they might as well just bring back the one thing that had people excited. Because at least the Captain America movies were the one where I think the only trilogy in the MCU, besides the Avengers, that were actually not because not including the Avengers, but I think Captain America's movies were the only trilogy that was consistently good. Like it never had a bad movie.
It held up definitely.
1 was great. 2 was the greatest MCU movie of all time.
I agree.
And Civil War was pretty high up there.
Yeah.
I still think that, I mean, 2 and Endgame are battling for number 1 in my spot of best MCU, best Marvel movie in general ever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just that whole storyline where it's like Shield's a Hydra organization. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was great. I did not see that coming.
And then they name dropped Doctor Strange before the Doctor Strange movie. They're like Stephen Strange. Like,
yeah.
What? I was like, and then that Stan Lee cameo was so great where he's the janitor in the Smithsonian, and then he sees the Captain America costume's been stolen. He's like, I'm so getting fired.
Yeah, that was really funny. I like that.
That was so good. So anyway, by the way, so the way it works, the reason why Spider-Man, Venom can be Spider-Man is that they give him like a medication that allows him to revert back from being a monster with teeth into looking like Black Suit Spider-Man. Obviously, the medication has worn off.
Yeah, I would recommend a couple, higher dosage.
By the way, we will be covering the series for Venom, particularly with Null, because that is like amazing. To give you a hint, so we've also so prior to this, it was canon that the symbiotes were aliens. Now they're just the essences of Null, the symbiote god.
Really?
Yeah, I told you this.
I forgot about that part.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say for right now. So anyway, they have this. So also we cut into Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. They have a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they're both on Captain America's side. So and this is before the act is repealed. So they're still in hiding. And then there's this cool scene where Venom tries to bite off Luke Cage's arm. So Cage grabs Venom by the tongue and punches him.
Oh, nice.
So in other words, so that's a way to hold his tongue.
Yeah, I guess like he's so like that he has that like basically it's a tentacle.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much what it is at this point. So then I'm skipping around here because a lot of this is just fluff. Mm-hmm. The Sentry shows up, blows up Asgard. We've already established that. Skipping over to the next Avengers issue. I'm trying to get to more parts significant to the story. All right, so the Hood, who's another one of Norman Osborn's like Illuminati people, and his girlfriend, I think her name is Mask, this character.
Okay.
They're in hiding because remember, now these supervillains have been defeated, the war is over, and now they're like public enemy number 1. They're being searched for. Mm-hmm. They're like, okay, so we need to get back up. So they call on. Okay, so the girl's name is Madame Mask, except spelled Masque. Weird ass spelling.
Yeah.
And then I don't know who this guy is. It's not Doctor Strange.
It looks just like
It looks just like him though. It looks like a mix between Tony Stark and Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So then we pick up. So it's kind of funny is Jessica Jones gets a cell phone call, and on the screen it says U.S. Army. So she's like, what? So she answers it, and it's Luke Cage. He's borrowing a private cell phone. So she's like, oh, so what's it like over there? And he's like, where to begin?
Oh man.
He's like, I think it's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
So then all the Avengers, they capture a few of the bad guys, and he goes, okay, so they're gonna go to this guy, to this guy's house. It's the weird, the strange guy. I'm just gonna call him Strange because I have no idea who this character's name is.
Yeah.
Actually, so we don't confuse him, we'll just call him Goatee Guy.
Goatee Guy. All right.
So anyway, they're like, okay, guys, so that they have this plan. So Captain America, the Winter Soldier, that's what we call Barnes. Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, Ms. Marvel, Mockingbird, and Luke Cage go out to go capture Hood. They're like, okay, so and now we know this dude's alone and he's depowered because the Hood has to like recharge. He's like, okay, guys, we're gonna go now. We're going in. So they go in, and then there's this great scene where Ms. Marvel gets like blasted with energy. He's like, oh man, she gets like knocked back. It looks like she's like down for the count. But then he's like, so you're Ms. Marvel, right? So Goatee Guy, and the big plan was you just taking this big blast for the team. She goes, how else would I be able to absorb all your powers?
Oh,
that's nice. What she can do. She absorbs it, and then she freaking blasts him. So then it turns out this one particular guy is like super powerful. So then he's like, okay, guys, I'm immortal. And then all of a sudden, out of the off panel, someone goes, well, this won't bother me this much. And who should show up but James freaking Howlett?
Oh, wow.
The cool Wolverine. He shows up with his claws, and he cuts he basically death by 1,000 cuts this guy.
Oof, man.
Doesn't kill him because he's immortal, but he severely weakens him to the point where, so he gets the guy to stagger, and then Ms. Marvel, with her energy absorbing powers, again, you know how she can release that blast. She puts her hands on either side of his head and just blasts his freaking brain.
Yikes.
So obviously he's out. Yeah, this is pretty much what happens to him.
Oof.
He is like blasted. And then, so they're like, okay, we got this. We win.
But he's immortal. He's going to heal and he'll be upset.
But he's knocked out.
I guess so.
Immortal does not mean immune to being knocked out.
That's true.
And then again, it cuts back to them saying, hey, the Superhuman Registration Act is thrown out. All right. Next issue, it goes into like a bunch of like recap series on all these different events, whether it's the Skrull invasion, if it's Civil War, whether it's this story that we just read. Okay, so anyway, so now we're talking about Dark Avengers. So this is the comic book series that's like the events prior to Siege from the perspective of the bad guy Avengers under Norman Osborn. Mm-hmm. This is where we find out the origin for the Sentry. And what you see is this biblical prophet, and then Lad can probably tell you who this is. And he's like, hey, put lamb's blood above your door because the angel of death is coming by and he'll kill the firstborn of anyone that doesn't have that lamb's blood. Was that Moses?
Probably. It might be Moses, but it's probably, it could also be Aaron, since Aaron always, Moses' brother always kind of was the one that spoke, and Moses told him what to say. But either one of the two of those, that's kind of
either
cool.
One. Okay, so what you're saying is that Aaron's was the co-host of Moses.
Yeah, basically, he was the guy who was like speaking all this stuff because Moses was kind of like scared to speak out and everything. So Aaron was the guy that, you know, basically the hype man. He would say everything that needed to be done.
Mm-hmm. All right. So anyway, what we discovered here is that first off, the way that the Sentry traditionally is a superhero, is a good guy. So you're wondering, why is he following Norman Osborn's command? Turns out he's a drug addict, and Norman Osborn is the only one with the particular drug that he's an addict of.
Oh.
And then the drug also brings out this personality, and he kind of goes on a weird rainbow trip. And then and then so the Sentry's wife basically recaps the origin story. Originally, they said that so for propaganda's sake, they claimed it was a guy who discovered this professor's secret formula.
Yeah.
But it actually turns out he was a drug addict who basically broke into a top secret government lab for drugs, drank a vial, and became the Sentry.
I see. So he's not actually the angel of death?
Well, he is. Wait, is he? No, I think he is, but he was possessed by it. I don't. Truthfully, I don't really understand it.
Yeah, but something.
What? I have no idea. So anyway, it's like the point is he's not well.
He's not well.
To the point where his wife tries to kill him because she recognizes the void within him.
Mm-hmm.
So the Sentry's like, okay, so the void is going to kill the wife, but then the Sentry regains control and decides to fly into the sun.
Yeah.
He tries to kill himself, except it doesn't work.
He just gets superpower.
Which has me thinking. So Thor wrapped him in his cape and threw him into the sun. That's not exactly working out, I guess, based on this comic.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no.
It's because the void was keeping him alive.
Mm.
So anyway, Dark Avengers. So Victoria Hand is giving a briefing to Norman Osborn. He goes, by the way, Moonstone and Bullseye are kind of how shall I say this? Getting to know each other more intimately in the conference room. They're doing this to mock you. Mm-hmm. So Victoria Hand watching the conference room and just shocks Moonstone.
Oof.
Like completely knocks her out. That's what all that green is.
Yikes.
Basically, she super tases her.
Mm-hmm.
And now, so outside Avengers Tower is the Sentry, or more accurately, the Void.
Yeah.
Who looks like he's about to destroy New York. And he goes, listen, he suits up and he's like, yo, Bobby, stop. Do not do this right now. You can't ruin this for me. We had a deal, man. And he's like, eventually have a conversation. He's like, hey, listen, man. Dude, just trust me. Just trust me. Do you want to be a supervillain or do you want to be a hero? And then eventually he's like, all right, I'll follow your commands, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So then Osborn recognizes that the wife is a weakness. So he goes to Bullseye and he goes, you see that wife? I don't want her to be around anymore.
Uh-oh.
When you go to Bullseye and you say that, there's only one thing he wants him to do. So he actually goes, I need you to take care of something. And then Bullseye's like, Yahoo. And he goes, his wife. So now this issue goes back to the meeting at the very beginning of the issue. Remember when I said there was a shadowy figure that Osborn used to kill Dr. Doom? It was the Void.
Oh man.
Yeah, that. It was the Void. And then so as the whole Spider-Bot attack is happening, Osborn calls up Victoria Hand. It's like, evacuate the tower, get out. Mm-hmm. So everyone loads up in Quinjets and helicopters, and Bullseye takes the Sentry's wife in a Black Hawk helicopter and flies off.
No.
So what he does is he chokes her to death and throws her in the ocean.
What? That's horrible. That's disgusting.
So then when everything is all secure and the Sentry's like, hey, where's my wife? And then Bullseye's like, oh yeah, she died. And then he's like, wait, what? He goes, oh yeah, she committed suicide.
That's horrible.
And then it's like the Sentry is going, I'm going to kill you to Bullseye. And Bullseye's like, why would I kill your wife? You're like invincible. The truth is because Norman Osborn paid me.
Yikes.
So then kind of Victoria Hand notices that like Bullseye kind of gives Iron Patriot a wink, and then this is when she starts to have doubts about siding with Norman Osborn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, so now you ask what happened to Norman Osborn. This last issue of Dark Avengers explains that. So he's taken to a secure, maximum security prison in the desert. All the Dark Avengers are there. They try and escape, and then Captain America and Iron Man come up and like take care of business. And then Captain America is like, "I know who you are, Commander Hand."
Ooh.
So then, it taking place back in Broxton, Dark Wolverine Draken impersonates a U.S. Army soldier and escapes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this part of the comic is. And then Phobos learns that his father's dead. Remember, his father was Ares, the god of war.
Yeah.
And then Steve Rogers interrogates Victoria Hand and is like, "Hey, listen, man. Listen, lady. All right. I know you're not a bad person. I know you're a patriot and you love this country. And you were just lied to by Norman Osborn. So you're my new You're my new number 2. Because remember, now Steve Rogers is the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. Bucky Barnes is the new Captain America for right now. And then Victoria Hand, I guess, is the new Hill.
Oh, okay.
So once again, now Norman Osborn is in prison, and then he has another visitation by his other personality.
Oh.
Which these are some of the I think the coolest parts of the book is like seeing Norman Osborn really like argue with himself, because it shows that Norman Osborn ultimately is Lex Luthor, but he's Lex Luthor if he had an evil personality within him.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Norman Osborn is himself an evil guy, but you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So then, that's it.
Wow.
We managed to get through this.
That was a lot, but it was good. It was cool.
So what'd you think, lad? Thoughts?
Yeah, that was really cool. It's really cool to see it connect so much with Civil War, and then actually like kind of like finish off the Civil War finally.
That's why when I was organizing the episodes, I said we're going to do Civil War first before we do Siege.
Mm-hmm. Good idea.
Eventually, when I get the collected edition, we'll do Secret Invasion, because why not?
Yeah.
But for right now, I think we're pretty good. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite Marvel stories because of all the things they tie in. I like the idea of them being like a Dark Avengers team. Even when you think about it, Hammer is Dark Shield. In fact, this whole era of Marvel Comics is called the Dark Reign.
Oh, okay.
That's that whole thing. It's from the end of Secret Empire up until Siege. Through Siege.
Okay, so it's kind of like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's like a lot. I like the idea how the gods still play a role. In fact, the gods like caused this whole thing to happen.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I find it hilarious. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, like, how did Asgard get to Oklahoma?
I think it's another story. I'm not gonna let me see if actually the page says that.
Yeah, because
I'm trying to find that. How does Asgard get over Broxton? All right, Broxton. Let me see here. Let me see. Okay. Here's what happened. So after Ragnarok, so obviously in the Ragnarok storyline, Asgard was destroyed.
Yeah.
Now, what happened actually is that when Thor came back to life, in other words, when he was aware that he was Thor, because remember he was Donald Blake, he rebuilt Asgard in Broxton and raised it above the ground.
Okay, so it's kind of like it was like a floating city in Oklahoma. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I vaguely remember that. No,
kind of weird. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he just wanted to hang out on Earth, I guess. But then it gets destroyed again. So what gives? Hopefully, he got insurance.
Plus, are you sure you want to put like so many really powerful beings with no self-control that close to humanity?
Yeah. So what happened to all the Asgardians? I guess they're just gonna go chill out somewhere
I guess
else.
they scatter because Asgard's kind of broken.
Wow. But what was your favorite part of the storyline? It was pretty sad. There's some really good
Oh,
moments.
that's a really good moment. I gotta think. Let me see. Probably when uh, there's like a lot. I think my favorite part is like when the Iron Patriot armor is like proximity alert. Norman Osborn turns and there's a Captain America shield flying towards his faceplate, and then there's like the entire Secret Avengers and Cap's going, "Avengers assemble!"
Yeah, that's a pretty cool moment, honestly.
I love that. I also love how shocked. I love the reaction to all the other Avengers that Captain America's alive. They're like,
Yeah,
"Wait, what?"
yeah, that's pretty cool, right? Like everyone seeing the like, hey, he's alive.
Plus, also, here's my favorite part. Here's one of my other favorite parts. Carol Danvers is Ms. Marvel.
Hmm.
That's my real favorite part right there.
Yeah, yeah. When did that conversion happen? When she became Captain Marvel?
Let me see here. Let me look that up here.
Yeah, because she was Miss Marvel for quite a while, and she had like the black suit, right? The black and gold.
Yeah, she was Ms. Marvel for like years, ever since her creation.
Mm-hmm.
So calling herself Ms. Marvel, she established herself as one of the most prominent heroes of Earth. She later became a member of the Avengers. She was later put in a coma by the mutant Rogue, who absorbed her powers. Then she recovered. She regained her powers as Binary. That's when she became Binary. And then I think Marvel died, and then I guess Captain Marvel felt worthy to take up that mantle.
I see.
And then, so Kamala Khan was a big fan of hers, which is why when she became a superhero, she took the Ms. Marvel name.
Yeah, it was free domain, I guess, since she Captain Marvel gave it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's some really cool moments here for a lot of these characters. And it's kind of like interesting to see where these characters are at during this. What year is this storyline? 2006, you said?
It would have to be surely at the Civil War. The collected edition is 2011. I think it's 2011, I think.
2011. Okay, so it's not too long ago story, but 10 years old.
Mm-mm.
That's kind of crazy that feels like, I feel like this would have been like a 20-year-old story, but this is like a more recent storyline. It's kind of interesting to see where the characters are and how they've changed over time to here. Like, Miss Marvel's become Captain America, and we saw Ronan.
Ms. Marvel's become Captain America.
Well, I mean, like,
you mean Captain Marvel?
Did I say Captain America?
You said Captain America. I was like, wait a second. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I did say that, I guess. All right, there's no way to cover that one up. That's okay. You'll edit it out for me, right, guys? Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not. Also, I just love the art, like just the art for like the character design for like the Void, or that scene where the helicarrier like rams him and there's that big mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find that real quick because that was like one of the coolest. Yeah, right there. That right there.
That is really good. That has to be
so
bad for the
dope.
environment.
Oh yeah, can you imagine all the global warming and all of the like dust that has kicked up from that?
Man, but it looked that's some really cool art. It has some really good art for the story.
It has a lot of different artists who worked on this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure who did the. I'm looking up who did the one for the main storyline because that would be the person who did the one for. Okay, Siege 1 through 4. The penciler is Oliver Coipel. Well done, Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's. I think that this was during like the golden age of Marvel. I think when they weren't so concerned with like really annoying characters like Ms. Marvel. I mean, I played the Avengers game. I said I would give her a chance. still annoying. But it's because here's the problem with her portrayal in the Avengers game. They made it so she's like the most important character in the game. She's like, she will unite the Avengers, and I'm like, what? And spoiler alert, they put Captain America in basically a coma because he's the only other one that could do this.
Right. Yes.
But I'm like, wait a second. You could take Ms. Marvel out of the story completely, and the same thing happens.
Mm-hmm.
She's not that important.
She's the key.
I'm like, stop making Mary Sue characters. But anyway, what I'm saying is that you had like Carol Danvers, Ms. Marvel. This was like in my opinion, when Marvel was the best.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I still think DC has always been better. I'm just saying when they were a lot more like fun back then.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they weren't all SJW at this point.
Yeah, it's like the best, like right before the movies, the Marvel Cinematic Universe like really took off. The books were probably like at their best. I know from people that the comics have really suffered ever since the MCU happened, but I'm not sure about like the last year or two. It's possible they may have been actually doing some more interesting things. Like you said, Null in the Venom storyline was pretty cool. That's a bit more recent. Great stories. So.
They have some great stories, 100% great stories. But also, this is before they did all new, all different Marvel, which almost destroyed the brand, in fact. Which is ironic because, and I'm wondering, why are you all new, all differenting the MCU then if you have a record of when your sales weren't that good, particularly in the middle of a pandemic where you need like money. What are you doing, guys?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we need to do we'll have to look at like some of the current Marvel comics to kind of see how like as a brand right now how they're doing, kind of just some of their current titles.
King in Black, which is like their, I guess it's a close analogy to death metal, kind of, in that it's like a big event and like hope's all lost. That's a really great story. Marvel has great stories, but personally for me as a DC fan, I haven't read that many of them. Well, I mean, look this way, you have to find the right character because Venom's having great stories, the Avengers are having okay stories, the X-Men have great stories, the Punisher has great stories. It really depends on who your favorite characters are, because I'm aware that Marvel has some pretty dope stories, like House of M, Civil War, Siege.
Siege is really good, yeah.
Wouldn't Siege make a great like Avengers movie?
Yeah, that would be really cool.
If they had all the characters, if they actually had all the characters in the universe.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. We don't really get animated. They're used to, back in the day, like 10 years ago or so. We used to get a couple animated Marvel movies, like here and there, kind of sporadically, like Hulk versus series, and there's a couple others. And we had TV shows, but ever since the MCU, it feels like it's really the focus of everything, so we don't really get as many like TV shows. Like there's no animated Avengers show right now, and there's no there should be, right? And there's no animated Marvel movies. Might be one or two every now and then, but it'd be cool. Like DC adapts like a lot of their storylines into movies, like like basically anything from the DC animated universe there. Movie universe.
Yeah, DC AMU is pretty much the new 52, the movies. That's pretty much what that is.
You're right. It basically adapts like lots of those things. It's really good. That's nice.
Slightly modified, but the basic idea of the story is still there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. But here's the thing. DC has always dominated the animated scene. Marvel has always struggled there because look this way, their animated movies, it's like they had like they had Invincible Iron Man. The Ultimate Avengers movies were pretty good, but they weren't that great. Where you have Justice League War, Justice League Dawn of Atlantis, Justice League Apocalypse War.
Yeah.
That's a pretty stellar lineup. Jeez.
Yeah. Those are really good.
But
we need
yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, like we really need another Justice League TV show. Like, I don't think there's a current one going on. Like, we need like that. So,
We do.
both. I feel like we need that new branding or kind of something aimed at like non live action, aimed like at like a teenager demographic, kind of like that range where it's not too violent, so that
You
younger
mean
ages can watch
like
it also.
JLU?
Like JLU, right? Or like Avengers
Yeah.
Assemble, where like it still has cool storylines and dramatic and there's sacrifice and stuff like that, but not
It's
like
not
too
too mature.
violent. Yeah, something where it can introduce new fans into the series, like
That's a
how
good idea.
JLU did for us, or well, what's it called? Avengers Assemble. We really need another version of both of those.
Yeah, that'd be great. First off, I think they never should have stopped with that whole Avengers Assembled like universe, because that was amazing.
Yeah, that was really good.
Although they started to all new, all different it, so
yeah, they don't have any like Guardians of the Galaxy TV show, Avengers Assemble TV show, the whole show.
They do have a Guardians of the Galaxy show that's I think in the same continuity as Avengers Assemble. It's on Disney Plus, but
right.
I think what Marvel has to do first off is I think they have to have a reboot and like get rid of all the all new stuff, because it's pretty obvious the fans hate that. Like the majority of fans, those not on Twitter, hate that. Like,
well, you can see it from the sales, I guess. Eh?
Yeah. That's where Ms. Marvel came from. And here's the funny thing about Ms. Marvel. When you look at Kamala Khan, her sales were actually pretty good in the beginning. And from what I heard, her original comic stories were great. It's just when they started to say she's the greatest Marvel hero, or it's like she's the key to the Marvel universe, when they started saying about how she's all this great, despite the fact that we haven't really had a story with her at this point, that's when we started to say, okay, this is really stupid. Which I think that's why the Avengers game did not perform that well, because they made Ms. Marvel like the main character of that game. She's the protagonist.
It is kind of a risky move, eh? Because she has not been like in a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie yet. And,
she's going to.
She will be soon, or show or movie, something like that. But
my whole thing is that they should have had like maybe Spider-Man be the one who assembles the Avengers. In other words, pick someone who the fans absolutely love, like because here's the thing about Ms. Marvel: she's controversial. She's divisive among the fans, and when you're trying to build, when you're trying to build a successful game, you can't afford if this is your first game, you can't make a controversial. What they should have done is have her be DLC for later, give her own little story, because each of the DLC characters has their own little campaign that you play.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the middle of the Kate Bishop one, which I still think is annoying, by the way. But basically what Marvel has to do is completely like admit we messed up with the whole all new, all different, because again, sales, obvious the fans hated it. That's why they started like going back on a lot of their stuff. And then once they get rid of all that, I think what they really ought to do, honestly, I think Marvel could do for a reboot. Because I think at this point, there's only so much of being ambiguous around when these stories take place that'll save you from because the continuity is already a little convoluted. Particularly when you have all these events happening. It's like event.
Right.
And what's interesting, I loved how DC, the one screw up DC had last year is that they had like a Batman event, which was like Batman Joker War, and then they had Death Metal happening at the exact same time. So we're like, which one's taking place first? What is happening here?
He's doing it at the same time. He's got it under control. He's in.
But the world is destroyed.
Because he's Batman. That's why.
Because I'm Batman.
Yeah.
Speaking of Batman, the Gotham Knights game should be coming out this year or next year. I think it's this year. And it's in the same continuity as the Arkham games.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So I'm wondering if Batman's going to show up, because he kind of died at the end of Arkham Knight.
Right. Okay. Arkham. So
actually,
Arkham
no.
Knight...
Oh, wait. Gotham Knights is not in the same continuity. Suicide Squad is.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Which that honestly is looking really dope. Suicide Squad kill the Justice League. What I'm wondering is, after you beat the game, can you like play as the JL for free play? That'd be so good.
Yeah, that's a good question, right?
Because you can play as any of the Suicide Squad members, even if you're playing single player.
Oh, really?
So I'm wondering how in depth that goes. And it's like drop in, drop out co-op, so you can come over and play with me.
Yeah.
And then Gotham Knights is not taking place in the Arkham continuity, even though Batman's dead in that game, and like the other Bat family members, like Tim Drake, Red Hood, and Barbara Gordon, have to take over the mantle of Bat People. But anyway, so back to Marvel Comics. So anyway, Siege was again, it's my first like Marvel book that I actually read, which I remember again, I was pretty intimidated seeing that.
Yeah.
Anyway, lad, what was your favorite part of Siege?
Oh, that's a good question. My favorite part of Siege. Seeing Iron Man show up in the classic armor was pretty cool. Maybe so that's somewhere up there, but probably number one. It might be like, seeing like seeing like the fight against Null. Not Null. The fight against the Void. The Void. Okay, yeah, the Void. No. Sorry.
That's okay. We were talking about him earlier. That's fine.
Yeah, against the Void. Seeing like Thor lay some heavy hits on him is cool.
And then Iron Man just drop a helicarrier on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole battle was great.
Yeah, and Void's gonna be like, next time someone drops a helicarrier on me, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, that was so good. Yeah. There were a lot of really great moments in that series. Which character do you think had the best moments?
Ooh, okay.
I think Thor did.
Thor, yeah, that's a good choice. Best moments. That's a good question. Maybe Cap, just seeing like kind of like him, kind of like he's like gathering the people, and then like seeing him show up. That I think Cap had some really good moments also.
Tossing that shield at Norman Osborn's head.
Yeah.
Having an energy shield. Halo reference.
Yep.
Yeah. This was one of like the events that really, first off, previous to this, I had never read a Marvel comic, so I assumed that the movies were pretty much the way the comics were. So when I opened up the comic books, like page 1, I'm like, who are you people?
Yeah.
Because Taskmaster is just being introduced now in Black Widow. Right, so Taskmaster's thing is that he memorizes the fighting style of every Marvel character he fights, and then he can basically duplicate it. That's his thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that.
I like that a lot. But it's like, I'm like, why aren't you people in the movies?
Yeah, I know, right?
That was my one gripe with the MCU, is that ignoring the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, there were so many other characters they could have brought in. And I feel like what they should have done, don't start Carol Danvers off as Captain Marvel. Start her off as Ms. Marvel. And then later on, you can bring in the annoying character.
Yeah.
And by the way, at one point, we will be doing like a game series. We're like, because I have a game recorder that I can plug into my laptop when it's not broken anymore, and I can actually record gameplay. So what we'll do is we'll record Avengers gameplay and like put that up and stuff. That'd be fun. Do like a let's play thing.
That's a good idea. That'd be cool.
But yeah. So anyway, I believe we're going. I think the next is still Marvel. I think. Yeah, it's still Marvel. And then I'm trying to remember what I had planned. I'll check when my computer is fixed, but pretty much it's one more Marvel, and then we go back to DC, which we're starting with Doomsday Clock, which I will have. I will have visuals for, because my computer will hopefully be fixed then, and then I can log into my DCU account, and they have all 12 issues of Doomsday Clock.
Nice, yeah, that'll be fun to cover.
And we'll go. Don't worry, I'll explain all the Watchmen ties and all that stuff. So it's not like that, like hard to figure out. They explain a lot of stuff in the story.
Hmm.
Anyway, okay, so lad, before we leave, question: who is your favorite Avenger?
Ooh, favorite Avenger. That's a good question.
Mine is
Uh,
Captain America.
yeah, Captain America is definitely one up there. Iron Man's pretty high up, but I feel like maybe I have to go with. I'll go with Thor. I'm feeling Thor
I
right
knew you were
now.
gonna pick Thor. I knew you were gonna pick
Yeah,
Thor. Yeah, yeah. Because
I'm feeling Thor now.
are you talking movie Thor or comic Thor?
Oh, comic Thor.
Yeah, because comic Thor is like so much more powerful than movie Thor. It's like he was taking
Yeah.
on the Angel of Death.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was great. I remember this is also before Thor lost his arm and hammer. So there's that. So once again, golden age of and remember Iron Man's normal armor, like before he was deposed, what was the extremis armor that like grew out of him?
Yeah.
Which, but by the way, the armor from Avengers Infinity War that like grew around him, that's pretty much what I'm talking about. That used to be called extremis, but they kind of did something like that for Iron Man 3 and kind of. I'm not sure if they kind of changed it. That's my problem with the MCU a little bit is that they kind of changed certain parts of Marvel lore that's kind of weird.
Right. Yeah.
Or they change like an entire story and just take the title, like Civil War. Like, there's no superhero registration act. The UN was not involved in that story. There was no like town being nuked. I'm like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me it's taking place in 616 if it's these events do not happen. It could take place. They could have. They should just come out and say the MCU takes place in the Ultimates.
Mm-hmm. It's very similar, isn't it?
But then again, they can't call the team the Avengers anymore because the Avengers team in the Ultimate Universe is called the Ultimates.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And Iron Man has brain cancer, so he doesn't really know how long he's going to be operating. Well, obviously now Iron Man's in the ground, but besides that. All right. Now, last thing, before we log off, I just want to announce a couple of news things. Number one, the Snyder Cut will be out in March. We finally have a full-on release date. It's March. I think it's 18th, right, lad?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, March 18th. I'm just verifying that on my camera, but yeah, March 18th. So good. We've been waiting years for this.
Yeah, that's gonna be really hype. I'm looking forward to that.
And we will 100% be doing episodes on it because 100% because of course, like that movie was the impetus for the podcast. We have to do that.
Yeah.
And then once again, well, that also means we're going to have to watch the Whedon cut beforehand so we can roast it. And then what we'll do is that those 2 weeks, what we'll do is we'll watch the Whedon cut week 1, and then week 2 we'll watch the Snyder cut.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
So we're gonna have to watch Justice League, unfortunately.
League.
I'm
All
like,
right.
no, that's the worst part about this whole experience, bro. I love how when I got out of Justice League, I didn't think it was that bad, and then as soon as the Snyder Cut's coming out, I'm like, that movie sucked.
Yeah.
I'm such a traitor. All right, but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that episode, lad. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, no, it was really fun. Yeah, that was cool stuff.
I'm glad we got through our college textbook.
Yeah, it was good lecture material.
And then, so we'll figure out what our next Marvel episode is going to be. And then, once again, this will be on YouTube and any of your podcasting, so you can see our faces. Now we can finally see Lad.
Yes, that's correct.
He finally, well, here's the reason, is because Lad's internet used to be like very unreliable. So
yeah.
That was why we always had at least one of us with the camera off, because otherwise the call would be really choppy. But then Lad tells me, oh, I got upgraded internet. Do you want to try the cameras? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah. So now I can actually I can support this.
Yeah. So you can see us. And then hopefully next episode will be back in the normal studio with my laptop. And then we'll be, I'll have my 3 screens so we can do like, so I can have my script and everything on there.
Yeah.
And then, Once again, follow us on Instagram at Under Two Capes 2020 and on YouTube Under Two Capes Podcast, where we also have the Star Wars show, which we're trying to get rolling, and we'll see what else we can do on the YouTube channel. But most of the non-podcast related stuff, in addition to podcast episodes, will be on the YouTube channel.
Mhm.
All right, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the massive event called the Siege. Anyway, stay heroic.
See ya.